How to make your body work for you rather against you. Now, I know you and I both have been through many experiences where we want to do things in our minds, but our body seems to say, fuck off. You're not doing this today. You're not doing it tomorrow. You're definitely not doing it next week because you're just a miserable sack of shit. And this is just how we're going to live our lives. And it is the most irritating, frustrating, almost degrading feeling to have because in your imagination, you're the fucking man, you got the money or a gal, you got the business success, you got the partner, you got the reality that you want for yourself, but physically your body rejects this in almost every way possible. It's so challenging to get out of this, but through this video, I'm going to help you understand what you need to know in order to change the way your body perceives your desires, because right now your body perceives it as a threat, even though objectively it is better for you. And this is really kind of the fucked up thing about our body in the lives that we live, because if you want more money when you're in a state of poverty, that is objectively good. Like that's a net benefit for yourself and the people around you. But our bodies don't operate in what's objectively good. It only operates in what's subjectively accepted as truth. And man, once you internalize that statement, everything changes. Because clearly your body accepts poverty more than it does abundance. Because if it accepted abundance, you would not be in the state of poverty that you might find yourself in. So as you change and want to find yourself in a more abundant position, because your body only knows poverty, it's going to naturally put poverty in the idea of success, which only keeps you in a state of poverty, because that's what it knows. So no matter how much action you take, you're gonna find yourself in the same poverty-stricken reality, because that's what your body knows to be true, and that's what your body is going to create. We need to change that. You need to understand how to change that, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So overview, we got the introduction. Number 2, we got quantum entanglement. Number 3, we got personality entanglement. Number 4, the how. And finally, number 5, the conclusion. So let's get into it. Number 1, introduction. No two people experience an objective situation the same. Now, I mean, copy and paste. You can have two people experience the same night, talking to the same people, drinking and eating the same food, going to the bathroom at the same time, yet they will end the night having a completely different experience. The reason for this lies in one's observation of what reality is to them. I think that's the wrong lie. It is the story that defines the experience of one's subjective reality. This story becomes the identity that drives every aspect of one's experience. Same people, copy and paste the night, and they got a completely different perspective of what happens. All because of one's story. Saying everything that night, but a completely different perspective purely based off of the story. Obviously, that story is intimately tied into your body's biology, physiology, psychology, the I already said autonomy, everything, your entire body. All of the scientific shit is centered in the story that you're telling yourself, and that's exactly why two people, everything happening the same way, can leave that night with a completely different feeling, completely different perspective, all because they have a different story. So now the most important part of the video, quantum entanglement. Now I tried to articulate this in a simplistic way. So once we get to these examples here, this is going to ensure that the rest of this video is malleable and understandable. Quantum entangle demonstrates that you can take a photon, split it into two, shoot them in opposite directions, have a detector measure one angle, which means one will be measured first, and find that when one is measured, the other is measured the same exact way. Doesn't seem all that important at first glance, but the more we look into it, we realize how profound this is. It's important to understand that physicists once believed that reality is made up of separate objects with fixed properties, And your experience simply reads what's already there. In other words, you get what is available and have no say in the matter. These are just the cards that were dealt. These are your genes. Just accept it. As you come to realize, that is bullshit. Locality states that reality is not fully made up of separate pieces, and outcomes are not fully defined until interaction occurs. In other words, your attention shapes your experience. So what physicists usually used to think that you're just destined to what is destined. Now we understand, no, what's destined is based off of what we choose to put our attention on. A massive difference between the two. Now, to further demonstrate the importance of the science, let's look at some clarifying examples. Locality is like a Lego set where the instructions are already written and must be followed. Non-locality is like a Lego set where multiple valid builds exists, and the final structure depends on how the pieces are related during assembly. Essentially, you can turn that Lego set into whatever it can become. And the only thing that's limiting what can be created is what you perceive to be created. Locality is the same as two people in the same industry, same experience, same knowledge, same credentials producing identical results. Non-locality is two people in the same industry, same experience, same knowledge, same credentials, having different levels of success due to their inner expectations. And that's another example that we're going to use later in this video. Locality is treating what comes your way as isolated, final outcome, independent of future interaction. Non-locality is recognizing that what comes your way is a provisional result with an ongoing process influenced by your internal state. This is massive. This is truly massive, because the general consensus amongst the vast majority of human beings is you get what you get. You just have to accept it. That is the best, the worst thing you could ever expect to take on, or that's the worst thing you should ever take on for yourself. Or it's like, some people have this saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Hoping, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard, because you're literally telling yourself, place what you want outside of yourself to chance, because internally I'm expecting the worst. So that's what I'm going to put my focus on, because that's what I'm preparing for. That is insane. You should prepare for the best and disregard the worst, and only hope, not even hope for the best, and just prepare for the best. Because now we have this understanding that your attention shapes your experience. So you should prepare and hope for the best. Everything is directed at the best, because that's where your attention's at, not the worst. It's always crazy when people bring that up. So let's get into the meat of the video. Number 3, personality entanglement. The goal is to separate yourself from what's locally, aka tribally, accepted as truth, or as final, This, of course, is no easy feat to accomplish, as we evolved with a tribal mentality. So when you go against what the tribe says to be true, you feel like you're exiled, and being exiled equals death. Naturally, you will avoid thinking in opposition to preserve your place in the tribe, because it comes with safety, understanding, and connection. The only problem with the tribe mentality is that it conditions you to accept less, accept disappointment, accept the worst. It's insane. And experience a world that feels against you. The world says chase your dreams, but then tells you to be realistic. Surely you can't build a $100 million company, because that's for corporations only, and that's for people with a loan, for people who get $1 million loan from their father. It's just not in your cards, man. Just be realistic, but keep dreaming. This is entirely due to people not understanding what is driving their behaviors, their reality, their experience. What drives a person's behavior is what they subconsciously accept as truth. It's widely accepted that people are more likely to fail than to succeed, so when an individual pursues success, they are actually pursuing failure. To understand this on a deeper level, we need to understand what people associate success with. Success is pain it is struggle, it is isolation, it is taking from others, etc. Whatever else you like to put into that list. You are unknowingly attracting more of what you do not want because there's a gap between what you want and what you've accepted as truth, whether you realize and accept that or not. This perfectly explains why some people can read Alex Hormozi's books and find extreme levels of success while others do not. One already has an established foundation of identifying as success, while the other is internally struggling to identify as success. And understanding the difference between those two individuals is paramount, because if one truly, at the core of their being, identifies as successful, they are entangled to the notion of success itself. The only logical conclusion in that position is that you're going to experience successful states, experiences, events, and situations. Because if you embody success and become the symbol of success, molecularly speaking, you are pointing only in the direction of success. Your body only knows success, so it's going to act in accordance with what success brings about. As conversely, you consciously say you want success, but you identify as failure, you are entangled to the symbol of failure. So it doesn't matter that you consciously want success. What you know to be true, what you're entangled with is failure. So you're going to attempt, but you're ultimately going to fail because you only know failure. You have to understand the difference between the two and how important it is to know the difference. If reality were local, anyone who reads his books would have success because the models he teaches are tried and tested to work. There's no doubt about that. One quick note, I do use ChatGPT to edit I write everything, but I use ChatGPT to edit my stuff because I have pretty bad punctuation at times. But these, I forget what these are called, but it uses them way too much. I gotta fix that moving forward. But going back to this sentence here, let's say I know somebody who reads his books a lot. Driven individual, reads the books, but have yet to experience the success that this individual wants to experience. Everything in Alex Hormozi's books is gold. If this individual were to apply it, he would never find success because he doesn't actually identify as successful. The saying, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't expect a horse to drink, or something like that. It's all because there has to be that pursuit to drink, the pursuit to experience success, the pursuit to experience the cash that this individual wants, or the result that you want for yourself. There has to be coherence. So with this individual, there isn't coherence. And I know you can relate to this in your own personal journey, because if you're not coherent with what you want for yourself right now, and that's what's stopping you from actually experiencing the things that you want for yourself, because you're just not coherent internally with what you want externally. The only way you're going to get there is if you genuinely, truly identify as successful. Only then will you experience the success that you're looking for. So, however, since quantum physicists have proven that reality is non-local, it makes perfect sense that somebody can have everything that they need to be successful on paper, yet still feel miserably because they lack coherence between themselves and what they want. With all of that being said, we now come to the main point of this topic. You cannot let other people know what you see on the internet, movies, TV shows, or books tell you how things are. People are purely operating from their own subjective experience of their universe, and there's only one world with 8 billion universes. If you don't take the time to audit your mind and see what you've been influenced by, you will never escape your experiences. They will loop over and over and over and over again. Now, most people never take the time to audit what they subconsciously accept as truth, which leads them to search endlessly for something they will never find. It's it's not like I talked about, it's often not talked about how entertainment in its whole, massively influences you as an individual. But again, the subconscious mind does not reserve what is taken in. It takes in everything. And it's based in what it feels. So whatever piece of entertainment you are viewing, it is going to make your body feel some type of way. And if you view what this piece of entertainment is presenting to you, and you accept the message or the influence behind it, you are going to imprint that message into your body, and then your body is going to act out that message, even if you do not realize it or not. I don't care at the end of the day if you recognize it or not. Your body doesn't care if you recognize it or not. It just does. Now, I'm not being intentionally forceful. I'm here to make a point that you get what you subconsciously feel to be true. It doesn't matter what you don't want to be put into your mind or into your body. I mean, things are being put into your body all the time, which is why you have to guard what you are focused on, where you place your attention, because if you are not mindful about it, you are letting so much influence dictate who you are as an individual. And if you're constantly influencing yourself with messages of lack, failure, and doubt based on movies, TV shows, songs, whatever it might be, you are holding yourself back immensely. Now, there does come a point where you can listen to wherever, you can have entertainment and hold your own truth and be powerful enough to push away what's influencing you and for you to be able to influence yourself. Sure, that takes mastery though. We're not masters yet. We are on the pursuit of becoming masters, but for now, you have to guard what it is that you're allowing to come into your body. If you do not, you will never change who you are internally, thus changing your reality. You'll never experience the reality that you want for yourself if you let the world to continue to influence you in everything that you are. I cannot stress this enough. I will say too, I think that what can be more challenging is letting your pre-existing behaviors influence you to experience the same experiences. If you don't get out of your own way, you're going to be your worst enemy, because you yourself become a negative influence for your future. If you're letting yourself influence your future in a negative light, you're going to be stuck for all of eternity, because your body is working against your mind. And that is a horrible, horrible, horrible place to be. So, with that being said, let's get into the how. Number 4, the how. What makes reality subjective is your subconscious mind. This has been stated a couple times now. An example of this is Ridge. Ridge is doing all the business-related tasks required to run a successful business, yet feels like a complete fraud. Ridge gets some business, but things typically do not go smoothly because he doesn't believe in what he's selling. This causes a chain of reaction that taints his services, results in projects being finished poorly. Furthermore, when Ridge talks to clients, they can sense his salesy attitude and attempt to sell something that he doesn't even believe in, which results in 80% of his clientele saying no. You own a business. You're doing something around entrepreneurship, something. There's nothing more damning than your clients reading your bullshit. Thankfully, I'm not in that place of my life anymore. But man, is it a horrible place to be in when you can't even sell your own services because you don't even believe it. How do you expect to sell something that you don't even believe in? It is a disservice to yourself, and it's a disservice to the world. So be sure to believe what you're selling, because it's a pain in the ass to sell. Now, what drives the reality for Ridge is a deep-rooted belief in failure from childhood, when he attempted to create something of value that turned out to be invaluable. even though Ridge was just a child and there was no notion of survival, he took it personally and convinced himself that he wasn't good enough to create things. So, for 20 years, Ridge has been operating from the subconscious belief without realizing it, which kept his success minimal. Ridge is entangled with the beliefs of a failure, inadequacy, doubt, and more. This story is kind of me in some ways. And lately, I've had more of an emphasis on reintegrating my younger self and re-scripting memories from when I was younger that made me feel invaluable. And the memory that came to mind that I've now makes me smile quite easily now I was creating a sandwich and I made a big mess, and my mom was having a really bad day, and she kind of freaked out at me, raised her voice, very expressionate with her hands, and it just made me feel invaluable, like I couldn't do things and that I did something wrong. For a long time, I didn't realize that memory was interfering with my wishes in regards to business, because it did make me feel like I can't produce things that are good. It made me feel incapable. So for a long time, that was operating behind the scenes, which stopped me from being the content creator that I've wanted to be for so long. That stopped me from being the business individual that I've wanted to be for so long, because although I wanted success, I was associating success with failure, disappointment, and being invaluable. Since then, though, I've rewrote the memory, where instead of my mom being mad at me, she now looks at me with like this little, like a nice, gentle smirk of a little bit of annoyance, but more like, I love my son so much. And I literally feel like joy now thinking about that memory, because it's such a better memory to hold. And now when I think about that younger version of myself, it comes with value, a form of creativity, a form of just being seen by my mom, and not her not being mad, just good job, son. You created something very good. So that's been a big focus for me lately, is to rewrite memories that were originally tainted with anger and pain and misery. Because now that that's not operating in the background anymore, what is operating is a memory of happiness and joy, which changes my actions in this present moment. So that being said, the question remains, how do I change what I am entangled with? That's an example. Recreate past memories that were originally negative. Ridge needs to change the story from childhood in any other memory or notion that produces a feeling of failure. Now, how you actually do this is this. To do this, you need to sit down, lie on your back, and enter a meditative state where theta brainwaves are produced. Your success depends on this. Quickly, theta is a suggestible brain. It's a suggestible brain state that you get in. It's where the conscious and the subconscious meet together. Where consciously you're producing ideas with a heightened sense of emotion, where your subconscious mind is eager and ready to receive the idea and the emotion. I've wasted 5 years of my life not getting into this point and wondering why I wasn't changing. It's because of this. I was lazy. I was prideful that I don't need to do that. I'm good. I can change myself with just being in my normal conscious state. Don't convince yourself that that's prideful and is egotistical. This is science. You need to apply science, okay? Please. I'm pausing because I want to articulate the pain that I've caused myself. I've wanted to create changes in my life for, as I said, like 5 years, wanting to manifest things and yada yada yada, but I never ultimately applied the things that I knew. And one of the things that I knew intellectually was this. The difference that I've come to realize is that you can intellectually know something very well, but emotionally, to know something is to experience it. I was doing one part of the equation, but it requires two parts. The second part, again, is the emotional knowingness. You need to know what it's like to get into that theta state. Now, I'll make a separate video about that because it's obviously very important to explain, but the way I can describe it is, one, it feels like you're on a mushroom trip in the best way possible. You feel like yesterday my meditation was unreal. I felt so light like a feather. My body was asleep, but my mind was awake. I was focused. I could think about something and feel it instantaneously. I could feel these heightened sense of emotions to a degree that felt physically real. And that's what Neville talks about. That's what Justice Murray talks about. That's what Abdullah talks about. That's what all of these new thought leaders have talked about. Getting into a meditative state where you can feel what you imagined to be true physically. Once you're in that state, that's when the work begins, because your subconscious mind, again, is suggestible to new personality traits for you to make. With that being said, as you're in that theta state, you must imagine the memory reflecting the creation as valuable. Again, that childhood memory for Ridge, or for me, that's what I'm referring to now, but extrapolate that to anything. So this changes how he views himself. Instead of a failure, he becomes a creator, which naturally makes him feel empowered, grateful, eager, and excited to share with the world. As he revises the memory, he must provoke these feelings. A key note here is that the body only responds to what is felt. It does not know the difference between what's real or imagined. This explains why people get aroused thinking about sex or fearful when recalling traumatic memories. Apply this to any desire that you have, any problem you face, or any inner nudge pushing you towards your desired outcome. So, in conclusion, quantum entanglement explains the relationship between one's inner and outer experience and removes a question mark that has puzzled people for thousands of years. What is the cause to my experience? It is your story. So it's no longer about random things outside of you or some God that you're praying to. Sure, God is part of the puzzle. God is within you. Luke chapter 17, verse 21, look here and there, for the kingdom of God is within you. And whoa, I quoted a piece of scripture. Not what I'm here to. That's not the intent. Scripture, religion, spiritual truths always point to the same thing, that everything is within, okay? So God is still part of the equation, but from a different lens. God is the energy that provides reality. So, as that's the case, if you're praying to God, God needs to be met within you, not outside of yourself. Furthermore, you are the one who receives what God gives you, which is the experience of life, and you're the one to decide how you choose to interact with your experience, with life. There's a big difference from looking outside of yourself on why things are the way they are versus looking at yourself and seeing the truth of who you are from that personality standpoint, from that identity standpoint. You are entangled to your story. You're entangled to your personality. You will experience people, places, circumstances, and events to match that. So, this is a scientific understanding of how you experience what you experience. It's no longer ambiguous. It's no longer wondering. There's no more wondering. You know now. You're entangled with what you subconsciously and emotionally accepted as truth, and you will experience people, places, and circumstances that reinforce what you perceive as true. Society is a breeding ground of ideas that shape most people to be a certain way. Your job is to separate yourself from what's objectively accepted as truth and form your own truths that revolve around the reality you want for yourself. Enter a meditative state where theta brainwaves are produced, making your mind suggestible to what you've emotionally charged. Imagine and emotionally feel yourself to be the person you want to be, and this will force you to become a different individual. As Joe Dispenza says, your personality is your personal reality. You are entangled to your personality. Your reality is entangled to your personality. Your experience is entangled to your personality. Everything comes back to your personality. You have to be willing to disconnect from the outside world by getting into this meditative state, getting in theta brainwaves, suggesting new ideas of what you want to experience for yourself: success, money, prosperity, abundance, relationships, all of it. We're not here to experience one thing that's good. We're here to experience all of it. So suggest and imply imaginal acts and situations that imply the success of every aspect of your life. Do one at a time. It's hard. I mean, you can create a scene that fits all of it into one, but ultimately the main essence is for you to train your body how to feel before you physically have something. So now you understand how to make your body work for you rather than against you. You have to train your body how to feel before you experience it physically. If you do not, it's just the same loop over and over and over and over again. Stop repeating the same loop. Train your body, program your body, command your body to feel what you want it to feel so that you can experience people, places, circumstances, and events that match your desired outcome. I'll see you in the next video.